Thank you everyone for joining us in this webinar. My name is Chitra Unnithan and I'm an assistant professor at United World School of Liberal Arts and Mass Communication, Karnataka University. USLM proudly presents Out of Syllabus, a unique web series which encourages learning through interaction. So today for the very first session of Out of Syllabus, we have with us a very talented director-producer, Mr. Nirang Desai, who will be discussing the business of films. I think there's a lot of disturbance. So can we clear that
From,
first?
from my side,
Uh, yeah, it's better now. It's better.
better now.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I think the chords. Yeah, ठीक है.
Okay.
Okay.
So just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions, for the audience, if the audience has any questions, please type them into the into the question box and in your control panel. I will try and take them during the interaction if they are related to the conversation. Otherwise, we can have them at the end. Now, without further ado, let me introduce Mr. Nirang Desai. Nirang has been a producer and director and has worked with, worked on commercially successful films like Malamal Weekly, Dhol, Traffic Signal, among others. He was the associate producer of the critically acclaimed films Firak and Manto, both directed by Nandita Das. He was the business head at Percept Picture Company and Sahara Motion Pictures. Nirang has over 25 years of experience in varied fields of marketing, advertising, event management, and filmmaking. He has directed his first feature film, Tabir. So, Nirang sir, would you like to start with that? I believe it's a film that's very close to your heart. Also, your directorial debut.
Yeah, of course, all films are close to your heart. First of all, a disclaimer that I am not a teacher, I'm not a professor, I'm not as, what do you call, erudite as you guys are. So please pardon me for that. But I'm a filmmaker, and as most filmmakers, I tend to drift, I tend to sway, I tend to go off the road and all kinds of stuff. So just bear with me. But what I will do is that, and what I shall share is basically my experiences with filmmaking. And of course, there is no Bible to it, and I don't claim to be any kind of, master or expert on this. But yes, having watched the film industry quite closely, and been associated, I think I have some kind of insights, slightly better than what some of your students may have. Because yeah, because what happens typically, as you know, with films, everyone has an opinion. Everyone knows about films. Everyone knows about everything. I mean, we very what do you call? And by the way, sorry, I may also break into Hindi.
Yeah,
I hope
absolutely.
that.
No issues. Yeah.
Yeah. At the drop of a hat, we kind of give the verdict for a film. ये तो बकवास है, या ये तो hit है, And nowadays, with thanks to the social media, what really happens is that once you've gone to the theater and you're watching a film, and within 20 minutes or 25 minutes of the film's going on, you're already on Twitter, यार ये तो नहीं चलेगी, या ये चलेगी, all kinds of stuff that happens. This is extremely disheartening for any filmmaker, because no filmmaker makes a film for it to flop or for it to not do its normal run. So that's one part. But then we are living in modern times, and modern times have these kind of technologies and gadgets and what have you. So this is a given. So I think what becomes more and more difficult is this business of film, and I'm going to talk only about mainly the business of film, because I don't want to talk about the creative aspects, though I'll touch upon it, because that's still a part and parcel of the filmmaking. But because once you get into creative, I mean, it's so subjective. What you may like, I may not like. What I may say, somebody else may not like, and so on and so forth.
Right. Yeah.
Plus, like I said, nobody makes a film for it to flop. So then what happens? There are at least 1,000-odd films being made, and I'm talking about the Indian context. Okay,
Right.
So many films being made. तो क्या सब पागल है क्या ऐसे ही मतलब लोग बनाते हैं if they were not confident about some aspect of filmmaking in terms of the revenues, but people still make it. To the best of my knowledge, what I understand and my experience is that about 5 to 7% of the films, only 5 to 7% of the films break even, break even.
Okay.
3 or 4%, or maybe 2 or 3%, they make money. And when I say that make money, I'm talking about the 200 crore club and the 300 crore club and so on and so forth. Now, mind you, 10 years back, we never had this thing. What we had 10 years back, not even 10, sorry, 20 years back, we had something like a silver jubilee, which was like 25 weeks, wow, a golden jubilee hoti thi, वगैरह वगैरह. But there was nothing like something like this, what we're talking about. Up to ye, the whole paradigm is now, 100 crores in 7 days, or the film has done. And that is how you actually relate to the success or otherwise of a film, which I think is pretty sad. But those are the times that we are living in, so we got to live with it. And these things do have a snowballing effect, just like I said, that you go and watch a film, and you make a kind of a judgment or a decision that yes, ye to chal jayegi. So you tell 10 people, 10 people tell another 20 and 30, 40, and then it goes on. And that's how a film actually, through word of mouth, it becomes a hit. But nowadays, you don't need word of mouth. You just have the device on your hand, and that's about it. It decides, the first, as they say, the first 3 days. And now it's not even the first 3 days. For earlier, it used to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now it's good. It's only Friday. That one fateful Friday, not even Friday, I would say that one Friday and the 3 o'clock show. 3 o'clock or the 6 o'clock show in the evening. 3 o'clock, फिर भी लोग नहीं जाते ज़्यादा. People would be working, so on and so forth. But 6 and 9 are the prime time. That's when the actually Agni Pariksha of the film actually happens. So that's the time you get to know, whether the film कि क्या हाल होने वाला है. And you know that, and everyone has an opinion. Like I said, किसी को अच्छी लगती है, किसी को बकवास लगती है, and so on and so forth. So my question to all of you guys is that then why do you make films? If it is so pathetic, if it is so pessimistic a scenario, why people make films? To my mind, people make films. One of the reasons could be that they're passionate about it. Second, they could be because it's a family legacy, because Yash Chopra did it, so Aditya Chopra does it, and the next guy will do it, and so on and so forth. Same goes for actors also. Okay, so either it's a family thing or it's your passion. And the third thing is what I think what we want to talk about is the to make money. Now, this is where the whole I think discussion should center around or circle around. That we are talking about the business of filmmaking. And nowadays, mind you, earlier it was a time when you had individuals who are producers, like you have Yash Chopra, you have Karan Johar, and they're still there, of course, yeah. But they've kind of got into the corporate, getting into the corporate mode. But now with the advent of studios coming in, and mind you, these are big, huge studios coming with deep pockets,
Right,
and with that comes international concepts, with comes, recovery processes. We never talked about recoveries earlier, 20, 25 years back. We just said कि Amitabh Bachchan hai. And to large extent, let me tell you, it is still true. आज भी अगर हम कोई फिल्म बनाते हैं, and if I go to a financier, the first thing he's going to ask है कौन है उसमें, फिल्म में कौन है, शाहरुख खान है, चलेगी, पर लेकिन शाहरुख खान लास्ट वाली तो नहीं चली थी, तो अच्छी के नहीं चली थी, इसका बजट क्या है, so it's 100 crores or whatever it is, नहीं चलेगी. So the financier decide. What used to happen earlier, you won't believe, and this is a fact, we used to have, earlier times when we made the film, we would go to distributors, because after making the film, I'll explain the process, how it goes, how we, but right now I'm just kind of cutting short. So we go to distributors after the film is made, and we hold screenings for them.
Okay.
Now, what typically happens in the screening is that we invite 3, 4, 5, 6 distributors, because they represent different territories or different companies, as the case may be. And then they take a call कि हाँ भाई ये film मैं पैसे लगाऊंगा, because that's when the thing starts, the deal start. Strangely, what used to happen, 9 out of 10 times, the decision was to be were usually taken by the wives of the distributors.
Oh.
And when I say wives, no, not that there was anything in writing that they had to take a decision. It was more like, but they had a sixth sense. They have come totally with an objective view.
Okay.
And they would say, कि यार ये फिल्म में मजा आया. अब cinema going audience कौन है? I think first of all you also got to figure out. उस जमाने में बहुत सारे लोग, mainly it was the women folk you used to go, they form almost 70% of the cinema going audience. Now the shift is changing. Now we have the youth coming in, almost 70 to 80% are youth. And within that, again, you may have a 50-50 split between the male and the female gender, But to know, उस जमाने में ये होता था कि these people used to be the kind of, so to say, they had the pulse of the market. Also, the fact that, the films that were being made then catered to these kind of audiences. Lot many. Unless, of course, you're talking about the horror and all, which are exceptions. But by and large, if you go to see, like for instance, just to give you an example, take the case of Hum Aapke Hain Kaun. Now, Hum Aapke Hain Kaun is a classic example of the shift that happened in filmmaking and the audience preferences. Because who would have ever thought that Hum Aapke Hain Kaun would become such a big cult figure, a film? It wasn't just because of Madhuri, it wasn't just because of Suraj Bajatiya, but it was, I think, the whole package deal. The whole package seems so very kind of conducive to family-going audiences. Otherwise, it was being touted as, the first few days, I remember very clearly, people say, "Wo to shadi ka video hai." That is what it was. There were 20,000 songs in the film. At the drop of a hat, you had a Didi Tera Devar and whatever, But all of that worked. All of that worked very well. On a different, what do you call it, parallel, you take the case of Balaji Telefilms, Ekta Kapoor. Now, Ekta Kapoor, and I'm digressing slightly to bring in the television aspect, but while we all intellectuals or pseudo intellectuals, we tell each other that यार वो बकवास है सास बहू वाला हमको, it's not for me, and क्या वो बनाती है, But let me tell you, the Saas Bahu, it's not that Ekta Kapoor herself is any great fan of Saas Bahu, right? But she has the pulse of the market.
Yeah.
She knew, and something that she went into the psychographics of the woman of the house at that point of time. And I very distinctly remember she telling me, because I was closely working with her. And one of the meetings, हमने भी यही कहा कि यार एकता ये तो बकवास है यार, I mean, this I can't, relate to, okay. But it doesn't matter. It's not meant for you, so don't worry. So you be out of it. You just do your work, whatever that has been assigned to you to do, तो मैंने कहा ठीक है. तो वो बता रही थी कि her experience, and this was meant for जब एक family सास बहू देखता है, या क्योंकि सास भी कभी whatever it is, वो देखते हैं, तो all the things that the bahu used to feel or wanted to say and could never say were being demonstrated in the small screen on top, सामने. तो अपनी सास को जो नहीं कह सकती थी, वो इसके जरिए, मतलब हो सकता था वहां पे ऐसा कोई सीन है तो बगल में देख लेती होगी, चुरा के अपनी सास को. But देखा ना, मैंने कहा था ना, वैसे ही हुआ. That kind of stuff. Point that I'm trying to make is that she could very well relate to people. She had the pulse of the market, right? So that is one aspect. What I'm trying to say is the business of filmmaking. So nobody makes a film for it to flop, but yet, like I said, 95% of the films flop. If not flop, they don't make the money, right? So why should you make films? Yeah, you should make films, and you make films. But now what happens is nowadays with the studios coming in, of course, now with the COVID thing, everything is gone for a toss. So honestly, I have no idea about what is going to be the future shape of the film industry, whether it's going to work, not work, how it's going to work. In fact, I was just reading something very interesting on artificial intelligence just before this meeting, and some of the models that I've been studying are based on that artificial AI is going to decide what kind of scripts are going to come out, what kind of actors are going to be taking part in it, what kind of budget the film should be, what are the audience preferences, so on and so forth. With the Google Analytics and AI coming in, it's going to be such a huge thing. So business of film, coming back to why should you make film and how should you go about. So broadly, if you talk about a film, what does it entail? So it starts with a story, the basic premise, which is the story. Then you have a director, and I'm only talking right now about the creative aspects of it. The director. Then you have the stars, as in the actors. Then you get into production. You after the production go into post production, which includes editing, music, sound, etc., etc., etc. And finally comes where the business guys come in, is the marketing and distribution and the revenue models and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Having said that, it's not that right at the beginning, the story stage, the business guys are not there. In fact, these days, they're there much before even the story writer comes into the picture. I'm talking about the studios because I've worked with studios and I know to a large extent how they function, right?
Okay.
Though everything is so dynamic. And like I said, everyone thinks that, and everyone knows everything. They think that ye film chalegi, wo film nahi chalegi. Yet the big studios still falter, still fail, etc., etc. Okay? Now there could be various reasons for it, but what needs to be done is that you, as a business person, you need to understand the story, the actors. It's very easy. Story, it's so subjective that हम ये कह देते कि भाई ये film इसमें मजा आ गया. जो मैंने कहा कि एक कॉमेडी फिल्म मान लो, but the comedy may not make you laugh. It may make me laugh and somebody else laugh, but not you. So who's going to decide? So nowadays, a lot of what do you call research is going on into exactly what kind of subject should we be approaching. Yeah. So you have the story, then you find a director. Many times the writer could be a director as well. Nowadays you have that. After this thing is done, you get a producer. Now let me make it very clear: the producer is not necessarily always the financier. Not many people have this misconception that producer. So I was a producer. So अच्छा तो आप पैसे डाले, आपके पास तो बहुत पैसे होंगे. नहीं, मेरे पास कोई पैसा नहीं है. मैं तो सब कुछ है, पैसा नहीं है. So कहने का मतलब, but so who is a producer? Yes, there have been times where the producer also puts in the money if he has the money, which is fine. But usually, जो आजकल चला है, the producer is the quasi CEO of the project. Let's put it this way. In management parlance, he's the captain of the ship. So he doesn't act, he doesn't direct, he doesn't do the photography, he doesn't do the music, he doesn't do the sound, he doesn't do whatever. But yet he's the captain. He drives the entire ship. He puts the entire project together. And let me tell you something, that is the most difficult part in filmmaking. Film banana, ek bar script tayar ho gayi, after everyone is in kind of consonance with in agreement with the script, and you've got your actors and artists, everyone in place. Then it's a function of working on the production schedule, this schedule, that schedule, and then going into actual production, which is the shooting part. Which honestly, it may be complicated, but it's not a very difficult part. The more difficult part is to actually put those 10 heads together. And let me tell you something, those 10 heads can be a big headache, because you have the story, you have a director. अब ये होता है कि you can't even go to a financier or to a studio at this point of time, because you need to get some actor on board.
Yeah.
So getting an actor, first of all, depends on your own standing in the industry, your networking, or your reputation or whatever it is. But mind you, God forbid, if you're a newbie, which not many filmmakers are, how do I bloody approach a Shah Rukh Khan? How do I approach a Amir Khan? I think this film is meant only for Amir Khan, for instance, because the story writer may have written with that thing in mind only. How do I approach him? I mean, okay, I'll give you an actual example. This is a friend of mine. He made a film. Okay, he wrote a film, and he was a very good friend with this star. Okay, I'll name them later on.
Okay.
they were very good friends. We were all from the same college, and so we were all kind of together, worked in theater, etc., etc. So he had to wait for 6 months outside his house, going to that guy's house every day, saying that, "Yaar, ye meri script hai, ye meri script. Arey karte hain, yeah, karte." Because by that time, that actor had become a star.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, हाँ. So say, "यार तू तो मेरा दोस्त है ना, तो पढ़ लूंगा. यार ये this guy said, यार, and he thought, and he is talented, the other guy, the writer. यार मेरे को फिल्म बनानी है, तेरे साथ ही बनानी है." So 6 months went by, and eventually, finally, he said yes. The name of the film is Tare Zameen Par. The name of the guy who stood for 6 months, waited for 6 months. I won't say literally waiting outside his house, because he was his friend. He waited was Amol Gupte, and the star was, of course, you know who.
Yeah.
Okay, so कहने का मतलब कि even getting the actor, now Amir would have. It's not that he was dilly-dallying or he didn't want to do the film. It's just that sometimes they're genuinely preoccupied. And
Right.
sometimes it's also the star thing also. So one does not know, but we will not go into that conversation at all, because that's a different topic altogether. Who know, whom, and they know whom, and etc. etc. Bada chakkar sa hai. Then there's also the money aspect and all that thing comes in, but we will not talk about that.
So about this
So
money thing, I had a question. So for example, if you if somebody wants to work with Shah Rukh Khan, but today, everyone is ready to work with Ayushmann Khurrana as well. I mean, it doesn't have to be Shah Rukh Khan. So does the budget get fixed first, or is the star who comes in first?
See, I'll tell you. Okay, no. What happens is, okay, the star is the only outside factor who comes in later on. Right now, first things first, what you've done is you got the script in place, a story in place. I may have kept Shah Rukh in mind or Ayushmann Khurrana in mind, which is fine. Okay, but एक कहानी मेरी तैयार है. अगर मेरी कहानी तैयार है, so I can. I mean, there are people, professionals, the first ADs, etc., what have you. They are the guys who actually sit down, break down the entire story into various parts, into various scenes, and then they work out a very preliminary budget. Now, for instance, if the film has a 30-day schedule in USA or in Switzerland or in New Zealand or wherever it is, then it's going to cost you X plus whatever. Very mota, you can get some kind of figure, To that, you add whether it's a Shah Rukh or a Akshay or a Ayushmann Khurrana or what have you. And that is what actually, unfortunately, we are still to a large extent star-led, While Ayushmann Khurrana is, Ayushmann, but let me tell you something, Ayushmann Khurrana today has become a star.
Yeah.
He's no more an actor. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
So is Amir Khan. But they're all stars. And when I say stars, what do I mean by stars? I only go by the kind of money that they charge.
Yeah.
And they can charge that kind of money only after they become stars. Because what does a star really ensure? What he ensures is box office success.
Right.
Okay. So, sorry. For instance, you take Akshay Kumar. Now, Akshay Kumar, this I'm sharing with you guys, but it's obviously supposed to be off the record. It's not, for public consumption. But you go to Akshay Kumar, you go with a check in hand before even making here the story or whatever it is, a check in hand, and he takes monies only in multiples of 9. Okay.
I'm interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. He takes money only in multiples of 9. And the first check, the amount is 9 crores. 9 crores.
Wow.
So, and the last count, what I understood was that his the multiple went to 9 times. So that was his cost. So about 81 odd crores, So this I'm talking about a year and a half backstory. I don't know what it is today because I've been away from the country for almost a year, so I really don't know. But that's the kind of thing. Also, the other thing what has happened now most of the stars have started becoming not producers, but they do it this way. Like Akshay Kumar has done it with a friend of mine, where he says, "Ki theek hai, aapne project banaya, bahut badhiya, this, that. I'm very happy. I'll do it. But aap ek kaam kijiye, you take 3 crores as your fees. 3 crore aap le lo. Baki ka jo bhi hai wo sab mera." So which means all the deals, all the distribution deals, all the deals with the broadcaster, all the deals with the streaming platforms, everything goes through him. And that's where they make the killing. And because that is in perpetuity. It's not that he's making the money only for that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It goes on and on and on and on. You know, even 20 saal ke baad, 25 saal ke baad bhi. Today, some of the guys are kind of living off only on their father's legacy. For instance, one case that comes to my mind because I was involved in that deal is the entire library of Boni Kapoor's films. Okay. Boni Kapoor's films. So because I was heading Sahara film, the motion pictures. So we got the whole deal at 29 crores. You know, now it had all kinds of film, good, bad, ugly. You know, jo bhi hai. So 29 crores. Ab usne to jab banai, I'm sure those films also would not have made 29 crores when they were released. So you can imagine that the life and the revenue stream of a film does not these days end only with the Friday, Saturday, Sunday release. Yeah, Silver Jubilee hui ya 2 mahine chali ya 50 days hui 100 days hui. It goes much beyond that.
Yeah.
As it happens.
On that point, sir, I would also like to take this question, which is related to the point that you made. OTT platforms. So they are also, for these small budget films, are they helping, these small budget films, because all films don't have to be big budget now, since we have these streaming services.
See, I'll tell you something about Netflix or Amazon or what the ZEE5. I won't talk about ZEE5 and all because honestly they are still a Lala company and but Netflix and Amazon are corporates in the true sense. Let me tell you, when Netflix came in, the first what they did was that everyone, all of us, we thronged towards Netflix. अच्छा चलो यार ये सोनी को ब्रॉडकास्टिंग राइट्स बेच दिए या जी को बेच दिया या व्हाटएवर जिसको भी बेचे and then comes the digital platforms. So let's all go to Netflix, and we went to Netflix because Netflix was paying sometimes 5 crores, 10 crores, 12. I had an offer, standing offer from Netflix for my film to be called Netflix original. So what they said was, they don't release in the theaters. It has got to be a Netflix original only. I and my director, we got a bit greedy. I wouldn't say greedy, but we actually wanted people to see the film. We didn't want it only on the streaming platform. We wanted it to go on in theater circuits and so on and so forth. But so that was the case few years back. Now Netflix also, they have certain targets. They have their own cost benefit, whatever that they do, and they have bosses who ask questions.
Right.
So they were questioned. Yeah, earlier it started with they were just they had their purses kind of loosened up their purse strings or whatever it is. But now it's become so very, because they are answerable. They're answerable that if they bought a film at XYZ, what is the revenue model? How many people are watching? How and today with artificial intelligence or Google Analytics or whatever analysis that they do, they get each and every, they have huge millions and millions of data. Okay, that's there. So they it's very easy to find out, whether XYZ films has done well for them or not. So to answer your question, they don't mind what you call supporting small films, but small films also have to have a big actor. You tell me something, Chitra, that if you are watching Netflix and you have some 70,000, or whatever, 700 films to be to choose from, which one are you going to choose? Either the director, either somebody's told you about it, or that it's got a Shah Rukh Khan or a Ayushmann or what have you, one of your favorites. Only then will you go, right? But there could be a film which is hidden somewhere down, which may be a brilliant film, right? Like a Masan or what have you, it needed a international festival recognition for it to be seen by the Indian audiences. Otherwise, you think that anyone would have seen it? Nobody would have seen it. So that, to answer your question, they support because they also have a business model. They are answerable. They have their own targets. So it's now no more of supporting art cinema or parallel cinema or small budget films and nothing of that sort. Small budget films, yeah, they don't mind taking it on, but then the monies that they offer are so absolutely peanuts, So that's what has happened.
So then what
So
will happen to these films post-COVID? Because like you said, you don't have much of an idea about the future of film industry now, but then we have to think. So can you share something? Also, how prepared is the film industry, the entertainment industry? Because the production cost will go up, increased cost of hygiene. Also, if you think about will there be intimate scenes in the future? Because will they will people actually open up to these things? Also, I cannot imagine going to a theater, breathing in the same space as 40, 50, 60 people. So what is the future post COVID?
yeah,
Over to
honestly, I'm not an expert on that, and just as whatever you think is the same, that my fears are the same as exactly yours,
you.
because nobody knows. This is so very unprecedented that there's
Yes.
no way that any one person can say कि ऐसा होगा या वैसा नहीं होगा. But what I think probably is going to may happen is with the technology, and this we've already seen in the past 5 to 7 years, a lot of digital stuff is coming up. When I say digital stuff, I mean special effects. For
Okay.
instance,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
now take the case of now to answer your question, there will be intimate scenes. Now, intimate scene is a function between that boy and the girl. Whoever those actors are. Agar unko
Yeah.
problem nahi hai, so then there should not be a problem. I think what's going to happen, because the film industry is an industry especially when the shooting takes place, you have hundreds of people. you know
Yeah.
Now for them not to congregate, and I don't know where India will go to, in terms of post COVID, or why post COVID. We are actually during COVID. During COVID is
Yes.
very much on, and it's
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
be on for the next 50 years also, kind of. I'm exaggerating, but it's going to be, one will have to live with it. It's not that it's going away. I think probably what may happen is there'll be a lot of emphasis on the special effects.
Yes.
To
Okay.
give you an example, we have currently, where I live, in New Zealand, uh, we have James Cameron, who's come down with his team of people, and they've come here to shoot the next sequel to Avatar.
Okay.
Avatar, which was it was made here in New Zealand. And do you know the crew size uh, of the entire film? The crew size. He's come himself. They've come in a chartered flight. He's come, and he's come with another 49 people. That's it.
Rest of is
So
all visual effects. It's going to be.
yeah, entire Avatar was made in a studio. There was nothing. Everything was done on green screen. So if you're watching this, the what do you call the shooting, it's one of the most boring films. I mean, you cannot even imagine what's going to happen. So with all these things coming up, I think more and more. In fact, about the artificial intelligence, very interestingly, I got to know that you can actually get a combination, create an actor, part of 50% of Brad Pitt, 50% of Tom Cruise, and you have a Brad Cruz or something, something of that kind of guy, and you can actually make a film with him.
Wow.
So the artificial intelligence, yeah, I mean, you just read on artificial intelligence, it's crazy. It's going to take some time to come. But what I was following with these people is that it's already in the pipeline. It's already happening as we speak. Artificial intelligence is already talking about what scripts to decide. You have Because once you feed in a story plot, what it does, it goes back to 40,000 scripts that have come earlier. There is one
Mm-hmm.
particular software which a South Korean company uses, 40,000 scripts, and then comes out with saying that this is similar to that, this part is similar to this, and hence then out of that emerges something which is kind of original. Nothing is original. जैसे सात सुर होते हैं, नव रस होते हैं. So everything revolves around that. But still, you need to have something new, and that is what artificial intelligence does. So anyway, I digressed a little. So to answer your question, that post-COVID or during COVID, it's going to be, I think, more and more, we will have to reduce the number of people working on the sets, the production that happens. It will be much scaled down, and for it to be scaled down, you need better, more efficient people. You know, You need school, and I'm talking about not just about the directors or the cinematographers. I'm also talking about down the line the crew that has. For instance, when I shoot a film in New Zealand, we have an entire what you call a lighting truck, as it is called, which comes on the set. The whole thing is manned by just two people. Okay, the entire set is lit by two people, and there are hundreds of lights, mind you.
Oh.
Whereas the same thing when I do it in India, I have at least about 15 to 20 people working on the same thing. So now you can imagine the kind of disparity in terms of now. Of course, the thing is that with India is that we have problem of plenty. I mean, we have the numbers, and it's obviously not so costly as well. Here, so when two people come, they charge you obviously much more than what those 20 people are going to charge. So I think that shift will happen where people will have to upscale themselves, so be technicians or what have you, and we'll have to work within limited resources. But limited resources karke bhi, you'll always need a camera, you'll always need a cameraman, you'll always need a set being made, and all of that will have to be done. But we'll have to do it smartly and in a much more cost efficient way, So yeah.
So there are a
So
lot of questions on, direction about the skills required to be a director, and also the challenges that you faced as you have faced as a director.
see, nobody can say. I mean, it's like this. What does it take to be a director, or forget about a good director? Because what is good and what is bad, I really don't know. Because, like I said, for a filmmaker, nobody wants to make a bad film, or nobody wants to make a film which is not going to do well. So, who's a good director or bad director? I really don't know. But what it takes to be a director is, yes, there are certain, uh, uh, definitely there are certain technicalities which will come in much more handy. You'll be much more smarter in terms of the usage. But intrinsically, you need to have that creative juice in you. You cannot. I cannot manufacture a director. I can manufacture a producer. He's a businessman. You can definitely. I can be a management student. I can do whatever. I can go through. Keep proper accounting system. This, that. Everything. But the creative part, I cannot really instill in you. That just as you have to have something in you to become that person. But yeah, there are certain technical things which you have to hone up in terms of the craft. What I would say, the craft of filmmaking that can be learned, and there are enough schools which teach you that. Yeah.
So it's my next question is may make you slightly uncomfortable, but it's about failures, and how do you handle them, because you work in an industry where everyone knows everyone, and also everything is public, unlike many other industries. So how if you have failed as a producer, if your film has failed, how have you handled that?
Bad. Just as any other failure. How else do you handle it? You don't like it, like I said. I mean, there are. I'll give you an instance of since you asked me, I can only talk about myself.